No doubt, the coordination layer. The coordination layer is the most important asset because it's not about coordination anymore. It's about almost monopoly. It's about who owns that, that piece of software that literally enables you as a business to buy, I don't know, 1,000 drones and use them, right? I mean, remember, as I mentioned earlier, most people have no expertise in robotics. They have a business that serves a customer, and they just want to incorporate the robotics as a mean to an end. And therefore, unless you're a massive company, you just don't want to get into the business of coordinating, unmanned vehicle or drones. And therefore, those who can deliver that to you, that will command, a big piece of the value capture, because quite frankly, without it, I mean, you can do nothing with your 1,000+ drones. So I think everybody can buy a drone. I think everybody with enough capital can buy 1,000 drones, if obviously the law allows it. But coordinating them is then what makes them valuable to you and to your customers. It's not about only the piece of, it's not about the drone, the hardware, and then the coordination. It's also one piece that just hit my mind is just the overall landing system. Because remember, these drones have to somehow recharge, land somewhere in between, right? So that part of just kind of hit me right now. Just like you're sending a drone to deliver goods and services, but I don't think it will be economical for the drone to just fly from the warehouse to, the point of delivery and back. So you got to be thinking about that drone needs to be stationed somewhere, either recharging, refueling. Think about an Uber of a sort, right? The drivers don't go back home and then get called again. Like they pick passengers throughout. And I think that's gonna be like, the big value. I mean, remember, Uber doesn't own its cars. It's the value of Uber's really in the coordination, literally, between passengers and drivers. And I think since drones are unmanned vehicle, and therefore we'll have to think about them a little bit with a deeper, thought in terms of, all right, when do they recharge, and then where do they go from there, right? And I think you have to think about it as a dispatch system of sorts. So it's a coordination platform and a dispatch system of a sort. So that it's going to be a component in real estate as well. So where do they get housed, and how do they get it? Because it cannot only be from one warehouse to another. They gotta be like mini warehouses around it. I'm just reimagining, by the way. I don't know for a fact, but I always said it. I said that 10 years ago that Amazon will eventually own physical stores of last mile, and we start seeing them popping up 5 years ago, right? Then we start seeing regular stores shutting down. I see drones having, the same effect. Some of semi-autonomous vehicle of the sort. A fully scalable drone ecosystem is a complex unit, right? That is constantly in motion. So the right regulatory framework ought to be there. And so what's the incentive of regulators, right? Is to regulate and protect the stakeholders, i.e. consumers, right? So these things have to somehow operate within a predefined, regulated space, whatever that means. And in terms of the coordination, I think obviously you have to plug in your coordination within that system too. So think about, when we don't think about airplanes are drones, but airplanes are drones. I mean, I don't know, pilots don't man these vehicles or these engines anymore. They just don't. They're there just in case something wrong happens, God forbid, right? So, but the airplanes, you got to have the highways of the sky too. They just don't fly from point A to point B. Otherwise, they'll collide, right? So think about it, that's how drones will operate as well. They will have specific routes, invisible routes that they can, they're properly mapped. The only difference is airplanes that are routed from country to country, from an airport to an airport. So you can count them, right? How many airports around the world, and you can divide a system like, that is, operationally efficient. But delivery drones going from household to household or from warehouses to household, and I mean, almost infinite, right? I mean, how much permutation, right? And that's the complexity. Otherwise, we'd have a system for them now, but it's so complex that it's going to take time for us to kind of figure it out.